But unfortunately, many people who has a selfish heart that refuse to give can never consider themselves as blessed. Because you can never be blessed when you don't give. Amen? Amen. I want a giving heart. I want to be able to give of everything I have. If I have little, give a little. If I have a lot, give a lot. See, it's easy to pay tithes when you're making $200 a week. But how difficult is it when you're making $2,000 a week? There was a time that my wife and I was both working at the cable company, and it was flexible. We sold, so we had a commission. But our best week was one week we made $4,000 gross. That was for a 2-week period. You know what my tithes was? $400.
Right.
Do you think it was difficult for me to give? No, because I was used to giving when it was $100 a week, or when it was $50 a week, or when it was $20 a week. I started out paying, $20 a week, probably like $10, $12 a week, then $20 a week, then $30 a week, and then it was a point I was paying $100 a week. And at that particular time, $400. It wasn't difficult because I had a heart to give, and I knew it was expected from God. Amen? And I'll be honest with you. I admire tithe payers. And I was shocked, BB, because me not being a pastor, I didn't know who did and who didn't. Until I started pastoring and I started finding out those that I thought were so spiritual who refused to pay their tithes. I struggled with that because now I understand some people get $600 a month and their rent's $500. I understand you can't pay tithes on that. But you know who I admire? People who barely have enough to pay the bills but still pay their tithes. Man, I don't want to call anybody's names out, but there's people in this congregation today that I know that you can't hardly make it, but you still obey God. And I admire that. Amen?
Thank you.
I admire Brandon. Here's a young man that he got a job when he was 18 and started paying tithes from day one and has yet to cease. Stand up and take a bow, Brandon. No, I'm just joking. I'm just joking. But God honors that, folks. God honors it. Amen? You know, my mother, she struggled because she was on Social Security for a long time and she couldn't afford to pay tithes. And then I convinced her, Mom, I said, pay what you can. She started paying $50 every month. Her tithes should have been a little more. Should have been about 70 or 80, but she paid 50. Started paying her tithes every month. By the time before she died, Mary Ann moved in with her, and she had so much extra money. She would demand me to take her to Walgreens and buy the baby a little toy. New Elmo came out, and Talia needed it. I'm like, Mom, you don't need to spend $30 on that thing for her. Now, Tim, that's my business. You take me up there. Amen. Folks, when you give, Brother Junior used to always say, you can't outgive God.
Right.
When you give, not only your tithes, but your offerings as well. When you give, God blesses. Sister Tinny, I've said this before, Sister Tinny told me, she said, Brother Tim, when I first started paying my tithes, I paid $2. I'd be like Kathy, 4 of us. She paid $2, she said. But over the years, God blessed her and expanded. Amen? Even a little. I mean, just one seed, one kernel of corn brings a stalk that gives you 6 ears that has probably a few hundred kernels on each one.
I can testify to that.
It's one seed.
One seed. Now imagine if you throw a whole handful of seed out there. Remember Jesus said that the sower went about sowing. He threw handfuls of seed. Amen. But the problem with most of us, we want to eat our seed.
Throw it by the wayside.
I'm going to say this again. Most of us want to eat our seed. If you eat your seed, you starve tomorrow. You can eat everything you have today, but if you don't plant some seed for the future, you won't have anything to eat in the future.
That's right.
Amen? I know I'm talking to the choir because most of you people are givers. I mean, well, I can say all of you are givers. Amen? Amen. Amen. Where am I at? It says, now listen to this. It says, both men and women, as many as were willingly hearted, brought bracelets. What if that was that favorite bracelet you had? That's the one that God appreciates the most. That's your favorite bracelet. And you're going to give it to the work of the Lord.
It's your sacrifice.
That's what God appreciates the most. Don't think it goes unnoticed. Every time you look down and that bracelet is not on your wrist, oh man. God notices it. It may be a long period of time before you get recompense, but God will recompense you. Man, I paid my tithes for years before God blessed me with a good job. I'm talking about years and years. And then when God blessed me, man, I was making a lot of money. Now I'm back to the old self. Amen? But you know, I'm going to tell you something. In the last, oh man, it's been a long time. The last, 10, 12 years or more. I haven't hardly made any money. But man, I have never gone without a meal. I have money in my pocket. I have my bills paid. I needed a roof on my house and had no idea how I was going to get it. My roof's been put on the house. Amen? God provides. He takes care of me. Amen? Amen. There was something I was going to say and I forgot. Everything I need, God provides. Why? Because I planted seeds for so many years. Amen? You may not need it right now, but in the future you might, and you're going to find God moving.
Yeah.
Amen?
I noticed that.
It says, listen, they brought bracelets, earrings, rings, and tablets. Now, I'm going to tell you, if any of you got tablets you want to bring them to me. All jewels of gold, and every man offered an offering of gold unto the Lord. It's hard to give. I'll never forget one day. I had quit my job and bought a truck. I was going to go over the road. And man, it took me several months to get it up to code. I had to put leaf springs on it, all kinds of different things. Finally, I had everything up. I would pass the DOT inspection. I'm ready to go. But it was in July, the slowest month of the year. I had just a couple $100 to last me to go on my, pay for fuel and stuff to go on a trip. I had no idea how I was going to do it. I went and had that leaf spring, Ronnie Gawkin. I took it over on 55th Street, Ronnie Gawkin. They put a leaf spring on it and charged me. And I had like $50 left in my pocket, in my wallet. I got to church, Mark, and all of a sudden it was offering time, and I remembered that 50. I said, oh no, God, no. I knew what he was going to do. He was going to make me give it away. I'm like, no, God, I can't afford this. No, I can't do it. I don't have enough to last me to get through. If I go out on a week's trip, I won't have the money. I got down on my knees. I put a couple dollars in the offering. I got down on my knees. I started praying. I said, God, I don't want to give this away, but I will. If it's your will, I will. I said, just show me who to give it to. I was down on my knees praying, and I got up, and at that point, because there was no one in the church I felt led to give it to, when I got down on my knees, this man wasn't in the church. When I got back up, Dave Cortez was there. Missionary to Mexico. He was in the third row.